my camera's better.
All right.
Good to go?
Yep.
Okay. Well, live from Las Vegas, welcome to a very special episode of the Caesar, Alexander, Napoleon, World War II podcast. My name is Cameron Riley. If you've never seen me or heard my distinctive voice before, to my left, the Munchkin, the Tyrion Lannister of podcasting, the one and only Ray Harris Jr.
Hello.
And the old gentleman on my right here, those of you that have listened to the history podcast that I'm proud to say really started history podcasting in the form that we know it today, the Napoleon Bonaparte podcast, Sir J. David Markham, all the way from Toronto, came down to join us today. We have a live audience here.
Live audience of distinguished historians.
A couple of hundred of
And
our
hangers
most
on.
passionate fans
Our
came.
favorite fans.
And I'm happy to say that one of them, who was our host in this facility, has gone to the pharmacy and provided me with some of my very, very famous medications. So thank you.
So, we don't really have an agenda for this, but thank you for buying the episode.
I thought
anyway.
ganging up on you was the agenda.
That's why.
Yeah, well, that's usually the agenda.
Yeah. It's a lot like our shows.
You need a gang to get up on me.
Ah.
So what I thought we'd do is really just start off by talking about these historical characters that we've, between the three of us, these historical episodes, including World War II with Ray, we've spent hundreds and hundreds of hours talking about them on podcasts over, like David and I started in 2006, I think.
I think about that, yeah.
2006, yeah, so 10 years ago we started the Napoleon show, give or take. And we did, I think, 60 episodes of that.
About an hour and a quarter each. A cure for insomnia, I always say.
And Ray and I think at this stage have done 50, 60 episodes of Caesar, including the Augustus stuff. We've done 46, 47 on Alexander. And again, they're usually an hour and a half long. So we've done hundreds, and you've done 151 episodes of World War II now.
Yep.
So we've done hundreds of hours, and of course the preparation, the research, you know, David has written 10 books, I think, on Napoleon.
Something like that.
I mean, these are episodes of history, these are characters that we've been deeply immersed in for, in David's case, I think, 120, 130 years.
Something along that line, yeah.
For Ray and I, slightly less, we just look that old.
Right. Because of Vegas.
So I thought...
And by the way, Vegas, this is a good example of where the old adage, what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. In this case, what's happening here in Vegas hopefully will go way beyond Vegas when it's all said and done.
This is the exception. Yeah.
Yep.
So I thought I'd start off by asking you guys to see if we can do, you know, I often think that between the three of us now, we've done the three really great military, political leaders, in terms of the three that most people would know. You can throw in a Charlemagne or a Genghis Khan or these sorts of guys, but if you ask people to name three very famous generals or leaders, they normally say, I think, Napoleon, Caesar, and Alexander. I think they're the three that come around, which is why we did them, really, to try and bring a different, a fresh perspective on them, maybe explain some things that people don't already know. So I guess I want to start by asking what, if anything, those three guys may have had in common. And there's almost 2,000 years separating Napoleon and Alexander, 1,800 years separating Napoleon and Julius Caesar. David, Sinners, you know, you're the one with the shortest lifespan left to go. I thought we'd start with you.
Don't be so. The way you're going, your lifespan might be a lot shorter than you think.
What would you say these three guys, if anything, have in common, apart from the fact that we remember them?
Well, I think you have to look at it in two ways. You know, first of all, you could look at parallels in their lives. You know, the fact that they were both born to minor nobility, and they both sort
So you're not talking about Alexander here. You're talking about
no,
Caesar.
no, you see, yeah, Caesar. No, definitely not Alexander. It's, to me, the two most comparable are Caesar and Napoleon. So you have them, born to minor nobility, and they suffer various difficulties rising, but eventually they rise to great positions of power, eventually they end up with tragic deaths. So and I'm making it very simplified here, but there's that. But then there's the more important, comparison. They're both geniuses. They're both brilliant. They're both, of course, great military commanders. You could argue the tosses of which one was the greater military commander, but they're both really good at that. But they're also very astute politicians. They're both beloved by their generals. By their soldiers and by their generals as well. They both really know how to run an administration. They're very, very good political leaders. And they understand what it takes to keep a country or an empire together. And they're both reformers in many ways. One of the reasons Caesar gets killed is because he, sort of like the Gracchus brothers long before him, is a reformer, and he wants to change things. The populares, the common people loved him. The elites, not so much. Napoleon's the same way. He's very popular with the people. He's extremely popular with the army, but a lot of the elites, and certainly the royalist elites, if you want to go to that level, they don't like him at all. So again, and just sort of off the top of my head, a very, very short synopsis of similarities. You have a lot of similarities. A little bit less so with Alexander. Alexander is, after all, the son of a king. He's not exactly born to a minor nobility. He's born with the proverbial silver spoon in his mouth. He's a very good commander. He learns, because his father insisted that he learn, diplomatic skills. He was an ambassador to Athens for a period of time. And when he is conquering Persia, he understands that if you're going to conquer a people, you have to make them feel comfortable with that, just like Napoleon and Caesar, in many ways, not always. I mean, there were examples that Caesar was very cruel to people he conquered, and Napoleon wasn't always totally generous, although it's a whole different period of time there. But Alexander understood, and so he had this mass marriage, of his generals to Persian women. He married a Persian woman himself. He showed a great deal of tenderness and care toward Darius' widow and family. So he had that sense of what was necessary to conquer and to maintain an empire, just like the other two did as well.
And let's go on record and say that's the shortest answer David's ever given to any question I've ever asked him. So,
well, who said I was just catching my breath?
Ray.
Yeah.
Ray is going to find it very difficult to get a word in edgeways on this video, so I want to make sure that we
between you and me, he's in trouble.
Yeah, exactly.
That's fine. I have no problem with that. No, the thing that strikes me about these men.
And that wasn't a short joke, by the way.
No, it wasn't. It is now, but it wasn't before he said that. What it gets me about these men is that, yes, they're intelligent, they're well-rounded, they're good at a lot of different things. Some of them are in positions of power. One's the son of a king, like you said. But there have been kings who haven't done anything amazing. There have been men who are very intelligent, for whatever reasons, haven't done anything. But these men were able to take that and they changed the world, or either changed the world around them, or they changed the world, whatever. But they literally, when you and I, we live and we die, it's like sticking your finger in a river. When you pull it out, no one's going to know that. We don't.
Speak for yourself.
Except for you.
By the way, it's what your wife says after sex too. You stick it in, you pull it out.
Okay,
no one knows it was ever there.
Oh,
Quit
we're not
talking
going to go
about-
near that.
Quit talking about me. Yeah.
She doesn't want to go near it either. But
No.
Yeah.
But she has to. It's a Catholic marriage.
Yeah.
But anyway, but they literally changed the world
Yes,
that they lived
they did.
in, and especially in this day and age, everybody's got an ego. Everybody wants to be famous or successful or whatever. These guys, good or bad, whatever, that's not the point. They were the real deal. They altered the planet.
They were. What you're saying, I think, is they were proactive. A lot of us,
On a massive scale.
we do what we need to do to be successful in our careers, and there's nothing wrong with that. But these guys could have settled for a lot less.
Yes.
They very clearly, Napoleon, Caesar, Alexander could have settled for a whole lot less than they did. Alexander could have ruled Macedonia. Caesar, could have been a major politician and a general and not gone beyond that. Napoleon certainly could have stayed as a general, but they all saw opportunities, and they saw the possibility that they could do something to improve the world around them, and to be fair, to make themselves, more powerful and remembered longer than your example of the finger, and so there was a personal aspect to this as well. But I believe all of them truly wanted to improve and to expand the benefits of the society that they were a part of. And they took the initiative to do that, and for, sadly, relatively brief periods of time, because all three of them were essentially killed prematurely.
Right.
But while they had that chance, they, you hate to be, stereotypical, but carpe diem. They literally seized the day and made the most of their opportunity. And frankly, I think in all three cases, the world's a lot better off because of them.
I'd also point out that a couple of things. I mean, whilst Alexander was the son of a king, at least when he was born, Philip was still the king of a backwater kingdom.
Yes.
Macedonia was still really nothing.
And
at
there's
that
a question
stage.
as to whether he would really be the heir as well.
Yeah, that's right. And but the other thing that strikes me about these three guys is they all believed in their destiny. Napoleon talked about his star, his destiny,
Yes.
his fate, and even when it turned against him, he kind of acknowledged that, well, that's it. I had my time, and my star has deserted me or abandoned me. Caesar and Alexander both spoke about being favoured by the gods, by their belief that they were meant for bigger things, and that doesn't make them unique. I mean, I'm sure many of us have that feeling, and of course through history, probably nearly everyone has that feeling that they're meant for better things, but they seem to commit to that to almost a psychopathic level. Like they were prepared to go out and do extremely daring, risky things. Well, I think most people, even if you had the vision that you could conquer Persia, most people would go, that's ridiculously ambitious. Like, even if they have the vision,
I could
and they
get
have the
killed
feeling
doing
they're
that.
like, well, yeah. And all three of them nearly got killed multiple times.
Oh, yeah.
It's a question of how much that they did all die relatively early, but they should have all died a lot earlier than they did.
Right.
I mean,
Right.
Napoleon,
Yeah.
Caesar, Alexander were all nearly killed on multiple occasions. So there's a combination of luck involved
Well,
in that as well as skill.
There's a great story about Napoleon that really gets to what you're saying, because I agree with everything you just said. Someone was extolling the virtues of an army officer to be made, I think, a general, and he's good at this, he's good at this, he's good at this, blah blah blah, and Napoleon looks and says, yes, but is he lucky? And Napoleon and Alexander and Caesar are the epitome of both good luck and bad luck. I mean, they had a lot of good luck. First of all, to be born in a situation where they could rise to their positions of power, and of course they took the action to do it. And they also had the bad luck to end up, as we said, dying young, and I think in all three cases being killed. That.